Okay, today we're bringing you something quite different. A review on the 2024 Kawasaki Z900RS. Now the ZRS series pays tribute to the 900 Z1 Super 4, which was introduced back in 1972. It was groundbreaking for its time and was known for its class-leading performance. And to say they've nailed the styling with the latest Z900RS is an understatement. Now, no doubt all of us have some lasting memories when it comes to the Z range of motorcycles, one of the Kawasaki's most popular and iconic models. For me, it was the scene in the movie Stone, with the long line of Z900s in the funeral procession roaring up the Newcastle freeway. Now, I was only born the year before the movie was released, but I remember watching that movie as a teenager and then joining the run to celebrate the 20th anniversary back in 1994. And amongst the tribute ride were some immaculately restored Z900s, bringing all those memories as a teenager flooding back. And for those that know me well, they'd remember I was the editor of Two Wheels magazine for a few years, around a decade ago, which saw me test quite a few different sports bikes, including a collection of Kawasaki's. I've even owned a few crackers in my years, riding, including a ZZR 1100 and a GP Z750, two motorcycles I look back on with fond memories. Now, I've also had a passion for naked bikes with classic retro styling, which is why the latest Z900RS had me written all over it from the get-go. I just couldn't wait to take it for a burn. Now, jumping onto the Z900RS for the first time, you're immediately struck by the quality finish and the attention to detail. Ergonomically, the bars are low and wide and place you in a really comfortable riding position, and the seat height is about 835mm, which is comfortable, while the seat itself is padded for both the rider and pillion. Now, where this bike really steps up to the plate is in the performance stakes. That 948cc inline-4 motor pulls hard from idle all the way through the 8,500 RPM redline, with an intoxicating induction noise that'll have you twisting the throttle just for fun. And with over 110 horsepower on tap, you'll definitely be towards the front of the pack every time you head off for a ride with your mates. Having said that, all this power is delivered smoothly, which makes the 900RS very easy to ride. Twist the throttle and the power delivery is instant. Keeps rolling out through the entire rev range. But when the time comes to ride a little bit more sedately, it's easy to ride around. There's no snatch from the throttle, which can obviously be a problem with some performance bikes. Handling is pin sharp, as you'd expect from Kawasaki. The trellis frame and the fully adjustable KYB suspension not only keeps the ride smooth, but also allows you plenty of lean through the corners. This is all thanks to the 41mm inverted fork with compression and rebound damping, including spring load adjustability, keeping the front end under control, while the horizontal backlink gas charge shock with rebound dampening and spring load adjustability keeps the rear nice and planted. And with a weight of just 214 kilos, yeah, that's right, just 214 kilos, this little beast loves to be thrown into the corners and powers out of them like it's on steroids. But with all this performance, you need braking power to match. And with the Brembo monoblock calipers being biting on twin 300mm discs at the front and a 250mm disc at the rear, it's an impressive setup. And when you jump on the anchors, it's strong and progressive with a good feel through the lever. Now, of course, it gets all the mod cons too, like selectable traction control, cornering ABS, dual throttle valves, assist and a slipper clutch, and an LCD dash, which also includes an economical riding indicator to let you know when you're using too much fuel. Now, it wouldn't be a retro bike without a bit of old school charm, and that's where the Z900RS really shines, with its gorgeous aesthetic touches like the analog dials, the brushed aluminium teardrop tank, the chrome accents, and that traditional ducktail rear. It just oozes old school charm from every angle. It also sparks memories from previous Z900 owners. I was sitting at the lights when a semi-trailer pulled up to me the other day. The driver, who was probably in his, I don't know, mid to late 60s, yelled out, "Great bike, mate." I remember owning one of those back in the 70s. Okay, granted he didn't own one exactly like this, but when you hear comments like that, it just reintegrates the fact that Kawasaki have nailed the styling to a T. And we've had it on tests for about a fortnight now, and in that time we've ridden it around town, down the coast and up over the Blue Mountains towards Lithgow. And in all of these rides we encountered quite a variety of different riding conditions, including heavy rain and one hell of a storm, which it all handle with ease. So if you're after a bike that delivers on both style and performance, you'd have to put this one on your test ride list. Beauty and brawn rolled into one. It doesn't get much better than the iconic Kawasaki Z900RS. But of course, like we always say, don't just take my word for it. Get on down to your local Kawasaki dealership and take one for a burn. Okay, now we're going to hand the bike over to Jonesy for a second opinion and get his miles of smiles ratings. All right, viewers, today we're bringing you something really different. Our first Japanese review, Kawasaki Z900RS, and we've given it to Jonesy. What did you think, mate?
I love it. I love it. You know, I was a kid that grew up on Mad Max. I thought the Z900 Quackers were the greatest things in the world. And when I watched Stone, I thought, oh, great. I love the detail. I like the fact that it's got the old Z900 badging on it. I love the fact that it's just so easy to work on it and like to do maintenance on. The only thing I'd suggest maybe crash bars, because someone like me is going to drop it just in the garage, and there goes your radiator. But it is so nimble, and what I was surprised about Pugs is how comfortable it is.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's so comfortable. It must be the bars, surely.
The bars are a little bit wider to sort of sit you a bit more upright. Yeah,
Yeah, and affordability, it's under 20 grand.
yeah, unbelievable.
That's pretty cheap.
And when you twist the wick, doesn't she go?
Oh man, it's a shorter wheelbase than the original Z900s. But for me, if you're a nostalgia buff, I could almost see you get one of those fairings that they had from Mad Max made for one of these, and you'd have your own Jim Goose special. And it's just, you know, it's such a nod to the history of Kawasaki. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, not only around town, it's good to get away on too.
Very comfortable. I didn't try anyone with a pillion, but if I was a courier getting into the business, I'd buy one of these. I might just take up being a courier just to drive this thing around. It's so good, so good.
All right, so let's get to the nitty gritties.
Okay, so affordability, under 20 grand, it's an 8 out of 10.
Yep.
Versatility, it's a 10 out of 10. I can't believe how comfortable this thing is. You know, I've got cruisers, I've got sports bikes. This thing, I feel like you could ride it to Cairns. Yeah. And when I first saw it, I thought, nah, it's gonna be uncomfortable. It is so comfortable. Braggability, it's a Z900 Quacker. Yeah. I've got a Z900 Quacker. Yeah. Have a look at it.
Say no more, exactly.
Beautiful look back ability. Yeah. The other night I was in bed and I woke up.
You didn't get out of bed.
I had to resist the charms of my wife. I said, I'm just gonna go and have a look at it in the garage. So definitely for those aspects, it's an 8, it's a 10, it's a 10, and it's a 10 on the Miles of Smiles rating.
It's right up there. Good on you, Jonesy.
Good on you, mate.
What?
I guess you want the keys back.
Yeah, that'd be handy.
I'm gonna miss me flight.